Hi everyone, Sean and I, and we are down here at Turkey Point on Lake Erie, and it's about a week before the summer solstice, but we thought we'd come and do this video now so that you can have it before the solstice and understand how it all works. So Sean is going to explain to us. He's got a compass there, right, Sean? And he's going to explain to us how, all about the solstice. Take it away, Sean.
Okay, so what I have here is a typical compass that you can buy from a sporting goods shop. I think I got this at Canadian Tire. And what it does is it helps you find your bearings, find your direction that you're facing. So what it's basically made up of is there's two dials here. So this outer dial, basically that's going to be your bearing, like which direction you are looking. When you line it up with this line here, which has an arrow in it, so that's your bearing. And then the other disc, which is inside there, is telling you which way is north. Once you line it up with the magnetic needle inside, which points towards, it's referred to as magnetic north, which is slightly different from geographic north, which is off by about 10 degrees, but we don't have to worry about that because I've already adjusted the compass for magnetic north. So we can see here that when if I line this up, like if I point this arrow along the beach, so I'm looking at along the beach here, and I can see that the shoreline runs pretty much north-south. So basically north is going along the beach this way, and then south is along the beach this way. So it's kind of interesting. We often think of Lake Erie shoreline as being east-west, but at this particular point it runs north-south. So what I'm going to demonstrate to you today is what is the summer solstice and why is this such a long day? Why is it the longest day of the year? So I went online, I looked up where the sun rises on the summer solstice relative to north. So when you talk about directions relative to north, the term for that is azimuth. So relative to north, the sun will rise at about 56 degrees from north. So what I'm going to do is I turn the dial here so that it's on 56. So each of these bars corresponds to 2. So it's not every degree, it's every 2 degrees. So I line the arrow up on 56. And then the only thing I have to do is I turn the compass until the red arrow on the dial is underneath of the red magnetic needle. So I have done that now. So it's lined up, and therefore, the sun will rise in that direction. So if I was standing here on June 21st, the sun will rise right over there in that direction. And then what the sun will do is it rises there, and then it's going to follow an arc, and it's going to reach its highest point due south of me, which, as we found out earlier, is right along the beach here. So this is going to be due south. And the sun, when it reaches the southern point, it's going to be at 63 degrees above the horizon. Okay, so it's 63, and then the point directly above me is going to be 90 degrees, or the term for that is the zenith. But the sun will peak at 63 degrees above the horizon. So it's going to follow an arc like this, and then it's going to set at 56 degrees from north going the other way toward the west. Okay, so the sun is actually up. It follows this huge arc across the sky, and it's up for about 15 hours and 30 minutes. Okay, so that's the length of the day on the summer solstice, which is the longest day of the year. Okay, now on the equinox, okay, so the way the equinox works is the sun rises exactly due east. So to find out where due east is, I'm going to line this up at 90 degrees. Okay, so I went from 56 to 90. And then I'm going to line up my needle again with the red arrow under the dial. And I see that due east is over this way. So you can see how much of a difference where the sun rises on the summer solstice versus the equinox. So the sun will rise due east and it'll follow an arc, but because there's less distance now from the summer solstice toward the south, okay, it's like half the distance now, the sun will only reach it'll reach a lower angle. It's around 40 degrees above the horizon, and then the sun is only going to be up for 12 hours versus 15 hours and 30 minutes for the summer solstice. And then the winter solstice, okay, so to find out where the sun will rise for the winter solstice, I will turn this to 123 degrees, so about right there. So you see 120, and then I go a little bit past that, so 123, okay. And then again, I'm going to line up the needle with the red arrow, and I see now that the sun will rise there. Okay, so it's only going to rise way over there versus over here for the summer solstice. So you can see how much of a difference that is. It's huge. Okay, so the sun will rise over there about where that cluster of trees is on the horizon, and it's only going to come up to 23 degrees above the horizon, so not even a third of the way to the zenith, and therefore the length of the day is slightly under 9 hours. So the shortest day of the year is only about 9 hours because it's rising so close to south already. Okay, so this is why we have different lengths of days throughout the year. It has to do with where the sun rises, the azimuth, okay, of where the sun will rise along the horizon. So I hope you enjoyed this little demonstration.
Thanks, Sean.